Hi, it's Lee White, your transformational coach. I'm coming to you live this afternoon to chat about how your stories, meaning identity, and the way that you respond to particular situations involving stepping forward, how these stories are keeping you from doing so and keeping you playing small. So if you're able to join me live today, make sure that you let me know that you're here, and it might be lunchtime or afternoon where you are this Wednesday. I'm going to be showing up here every week and sharing with you the insights that I have through working with people on, it could be, often it's their personal development, and it can largely be, I'm having a lot more people show up around getting to their next step in their career or their passion project or small business. And I'm here to be teaching you today why your stories are keeping you from really stepping forward, and that means that you'll be playing small, smaller than you really are, and not sharing the gifts that you actually have available to share with this world. So what playing it small means is when you hear about an opportunity to step forward. So this might be, let's say, you might be a marketing manager and you're invited to speak at the company conference or at an industry or association conference. And straight away you go into panic because you're thinking, why are they asking me? Why are they asking me? What have I got to offer? It's going to be a waste of time. I've never done it before. These are the type of stories that people will hear. It's not as common for somebody to say, oh my God, that's awesome, I can't wait. It's more common for a person to contract their energy quite a bit and be thinking of all the reasons why this is not a good idea. And some of those stories can be coming from other experiences earlier in their life. So they might be speaking at family events where, like families are a really interesting bunch of energies in your life, and the way that families can impact your confidence and your ability to feel like it's safe to be seen out in the world is huge. And hey Cesar, it's great to have you here, and I love how you're sharing that thing that so many people feel, which it definitely is scary. And one of the things about when we have those memories of earlier times where it could have been years ago, very early in our life, where we stood up, and you might have even as a child done a little pantomime or something for the family and felt humiliated. Because people don't realise how long-lasting, simple words that they say or non-verbal communications, how those can impact others around them. And look, that's nobody's fault, but where the work lies is what you do with the way that you responded to that situation. So if you're young or at any time in your life and you feel humiliated by an interaction, it's what you really do with that and how you've made meaning of that's where the work is. And everything can be brought back to zero and healed and worked through to create a stronger foundation to build from. So when we've got these stories that keep us playing small, it's usually very largely due to how we see the opportunity. So I meet people that are very experienced, senior managers, and they tell me that they're terrified. Terrified of networking, so making cold calls to someone they don't know. They're terrified of being interviewed for a job or in PR. That would just be horrendous for them. And they are not comfortable being seen because they feel they're going to be judged in some way. And some of the people that I've worked with feel that they are wasting the time of the person that they are presenting to or making that cold call with. So much of it is the stories that you make around these interactions. So when we feel like we are wasting somebody's time, that is where we have lost a sense of our own value in what we have to offer. And usually when a person is networking or building relationships and building connections, they are adding value in ways like they might be increasing, their social networks. They might be actually could be also looking for romantic relationships. All of these different networking things come back to the stories you tell yourself around what you've got to offer. So as you can see, it's quite a complex web of different aspects of our identity, different aspects of our experience, and how we view what we have to offer the world. And like I talked about last week, the new normal is connecting with people, often in groups. So I often work with marketing managers that are looking at doing meetup talks. So there might be 80 people at a meetup, and those events that you can attend to hear an expert speaking. Now, that is the key thing. You attend a meetup to hear an expert speaking. So when somebody is invited to speak at a meetup, that is because you are viewed as an expert. And when you go into the stories about how it's not going to work out and it's not for you, that is heavily anchored in how you're not seeing the value that you have to offer. And I love what Cesar has so generously shared here is how it's terrifying about making mistakes when speaking and then being criticised. So the meaning that we make about these interactions is so powerful because it's stopping you from sharing the gifts that you have to share with the world. And so that's where, your opportunity is to impact other people's lives through, it could be a skill that you teach, it could be an experience that you've had in your life. When you hear about somebody who's overcome something really horrendous in their life, it might have been a cancer patient or something that they've overcome that they really didn't think they were going to get through. Those type of stories that people share impact people's lives in ways that the speaker will probably never know. So when you're married to the idea that you're going to be criticised or humiliated by stepping forward, it's not allowing you to expand into all that you are and what you have to offer the world. It does really hold you back from what your purpose is here. So when you feel like you're going to be wasting people's time or that you don't have anything to offer, you really need to do a little bit of a reflection around that. Where are these stories coming from? Is it something that some random great aunt 1,000 years ago said to you? Well, maybe not 1,000, but you get what I'm saying. Is it something from the past? Now, as you know, it's always thirsty work. I'm just going to have a quick break here. And let me know in the questions and comments below. Drop an emoji in there if you are able to join me live. It's been so great having Cesar here because he's got those real burning sort of questions and statements around what his experience and thoughts are around this prospect of going live and being seen and speaking and all of these things. When a person is new to a place, so they might be new to an experience like job searching, may not have done that for a while. They might be new to a community. So that can be a professional or social, type of community. And why it feels so unsafe is because it's unfamiliar territory. You feel a bit like you're walking through the dark woods and you don't have a light and you don't have a map and you don't know what you're doing because your brain will automatically be telling you that this is not safe, like there's some kind of danger here. And getting the skills around really being able to separate from that, it's actually referred to as the ego side of yourself that tends to keep you from stepping forward and keep you in what you deem to be safer kind of territory. It's great to allow yourself to see those thoughts for what they are, to always do a fact check around where that thought about I'm going to be criticized, or it's not going to work out for me, or I'm wasting people's time, or I'm not going to get it right. Where is that coming from? And doing a little bit of digging there within yourself around what the roots are beneath that story. How did it come about? And often it will be quite a revelation where that came from. And the most important part is, where is it anchored now? Like, why are we still believing that truth? Because really, what is the truth? If you're here to create a great life for yourself, what kind of truth are you going to be defined by? Who gets to tell you how it's going to go? That's one of the biggest aspects of stepping forward into your power, is who will you give your power up to by believing in their truth? When they tell you that it's like this and it's going to be like that and that you were like this, those stories and those beliefs can really create a lot of limiting beliefs. So when you have an opportunity for a job interview or a networking opportunity or a media interview and all of these different types of fears come up, it's really fascinating to do a bit of work around where that is coming from. The fact check. Is it really realistic that it's going to be that bad? When stepping forward and getting a little bit excited about the wisdom that comes through failing and learning through something, when you were a child and you were learning to walk, you totally did not get up and go. I don't need to be psychic or anything to tell you this. I know that you couldn't do it, and you needed to build those muscles, and you needed to build that coordination, and you needed to crawl and fall and roll over and do a whole lot of things before you could walk and run. So when you look at this journey around the new normal of how we build relationships with so many different demographic groups out in the world, or the networking groups that you want to connect with, if it's to get your next step in your career, there's, someone that you really look up to, or someone that might know somebody that would be valuable for you to connect with. All of these different types of relationships that you're looking at building are so important for you to open up to and allow yourself to expand into that, and going in with no expectation, or just the expectation that maybe you'll learn one thing or hear one form of new connection that's valuable for you. And really letting go of it being the be all and end all, and that kind of perfectionistic way of approaching things, which never is serving anybody. Like, think about the greatest inventors, the Thomas Edison's and Albert Einstein's and Marie Curie. They totally did not get it right the first time. And, whether or not it was a public thing that they were doing, it was something that they were trying and failing. And as they say, sort of failing forward, where you're learning all the time. This thing of using your softer skills, they're not necessarily technical skills. They are those personal aspects of yourself that you put forward and make connections with. These softer skills are more important in your career and in your personal life than ever before, and particularly if you're a small business owner or you're a person that wants to have that passion project and get out there and impact the world. It's not by sitting back and telling yourself that another time would be better for this, or I better not do that now, or who am I to be stepping forward, or what if I get it wrong? It's all about allowing yourself to have a try and to be ready to learn, and approaching it with that beginner's mindset. It's often referred to as that. just letting go of those expectations about it being perfect, because this capacity for you to connect with others really is a new currency for you in whatever it is you're trying to expand into. So you can keep things the same way they always were, or you can open up to allowing yourself to understand more about how those stories and your fateful predictions about how things are going to go if you step forward, where that's going to take you. Because through a process of uncovering what the limiting beliefs are, doing the fact check around the stories and exploring things at a very much deeper level there, and really reviewing the different types of value that you do add and affirming that for yourself and nurturing and reassuring yourself about what you're going to be stepping forward and doing. And like some of the clients I work with that are preparing for their meetup events, they are super concerned about how it's going to go. And often it's some of the most simple aspects of what you're doing is thinking about the audience, thinking of it from the audience's perspective, and then practicing, doing a lot of practice and not expecting yourself to get it right in every single aspect, and working with somebody who has done it before and knows that path and is able to hold that space for you. So I hope that this has been interesting around how the stories that we make and the meaning that we make around these interactions, and your capacity to accept yourself as you are and to know that you're never wasting people's time when you've allowed yourself to step forward and share those talents, abilities, gifts and passions that you have available to help others and to guide others. So please let me know if you have any questions below. And often some of the best conversations happen after the live in the comments in the Q&A down there as well. So please be posting your comments. Just, recapping what we've been talking about today, be very mindful of where these stories are coming from within you. And the stories are aspects of your identity and what you believe about the opportunity or what you believe is safe for you. Looking into where those are coming from and doing a bit of fact checking around, why am I thinking, why do I believe that? Where does that belief come from? And when you're looking at other people that you look up to that do this all the time and seem to step forward so naturally and do these things, what is the difference between you and them? Seriously, they've just got the heart, the lungs, the blood, the body, they're normal, they're just human. And it's really around training and the relationship with yourself and those beliefs around that, you're understanding the limiting beliefs and what's going on there is very, very crucial. And allowing yourself to find that reassurance through looking at what you've got to offer and understanding the value that you do bring, and practicing, doing a little bit of preparation and practice. But it's not about getting it perfect. It's about being willing to step forward, and if there's some kind of setback or something doesn't go perfectly, what do we have to learn through that experience? We're always learning. That's kind of the whole aim of the beginner's mindset. And I hope this has been helpful for you today. Each week I'm going to be sharing different reflections and tips and insights and what I know from what I'm seeing out in the marketplace around the new normal. And it's totally not around just putting ads out there or just hoping that things are going to work out for you in your career or your side shuffle or your passion project or your small business or your new relationships. It's about taking action, and that to be very inspired action, learning from someone who's walked the path before. So I hope this has been helpful today, and I look forward to seeing you here again next week. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow the page, click like on the page, and join the closed group if that's something that you're interested in learning more in a supportive environment that I created quite some time ago in 2017. So thanks very much for joining here. Same time next week. I'll look forward to connecting with you then. Bye for now.